On this episode, we're going to be talking about how the 2008 recession is still affecting the 2022 real estate market today. We'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back to Lovin the Lakeshore, episode number 13!
Yay.
We've made it! We've come so far. And in this video, I'm excited. This is really good information.
Content, baby, content.
Yes. So we are going to talk about how, like Brian said, the 2008 crash is really affecting the market today. So Brian, how is it possible for something that happened seemingly so long ago in 2008, how is it affecting our current real estate market?
How it's affecting our current real estate market is shortage.
Oh, that's a big word right now.
If you listen to people talking about real estate and talking about what's going on, it's all revolving around shortage. Yeah. And guess what happened in 2008? Builders stopped building homes. You cannot construct a home and then after you're done building the home, sell it for less than what you built it for. And that's what builders were faced with in 2009, 2010. So across the board, they kind of moved into a different world. They moved into renovation or they moved out of state. Right?
Oh, for sure.
To go build where there is a market that's not as affected by the downturn.
Yeah.
The Midwest was affected greatly.
Because we've seen a 33% depreciation in the market, which really catalyst to be an amazing market for first-time home buyers. With that depreciation, it brought some of those values down where people could get in and buy. But at the same time, those are people who, of course, are kind of middle-class citizens. They were struggling. They lost their jobs. Some of their incomes were cut. So it became hard for them to even buy into those great price first-time homes. Yep.
And so if you don't have affordable housing in a marketplace, you're faced with renting, correct?
Yeah.
So and if it all tails back to 2008 and shortage of housing, we also have to elaborate even further. What's happened in our market since 2008 as building permits still have not fully caught up with where they were in 2008.
For sure.
Because of the speculation, people were building assuming that people were going to buy the homes.
Yeah.
In today's market, most builders are either custom home builders that are building specifically for one person, so it's a guarantee buyer.
Yep.
Or they're building in a development,
yes,
which has, pools and sidewalks and is really very nice, but you don't have affordable housing in those projects.
No, they're starting 3, sometimes 4, 700,000 even. Yeah.
Depending on if you finish your basement. So
yeah.
It's a cool 700. So I just want us to all digest this. In the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, do you know what the builders were building? They were building 900 to 1,200 square foot
Little
houses.
ranch, perfect starter homes.
Perfect starter homes. Those starter homes right now are not readily available. They're not for sale. And why are they not for sale?
A lot of it has to do with, of course, people aging out of their house. So they are just living in them longer. We have people who are 70, 80 years old where whether they're trying to get into assisted living facility, the waiting lists are years sometimes. The cost, it's cheaper for them to have either family members or in-home care come in and take care of them versus living in those facilities. So they are staying and aging into those houses a lot longer, which means those houses aren't hitting the market for people to buy. And sometimes, of course, once they get to the age, they have grandkids, great-grandkids, and other family members who are like, hey, I can't find a house. I need that house. We're taking the house before it even hits the market.
So think of the whole market and just realize that if you're a first-time home buyer and you're looking to purchase and all that's available as far as new construction is concerned is a home that's outside of your budget.
Yeah.
And the homes that would be the size that you'd want coming from an apartment, a small, petite, nice home.
Yeah.
Are occupied by maybe somebody that bought their house in 2011 for $80,000.
Yep.
And they're virtually paying that house off. They may be in a position where their house is paid for, so they don't want to move. You've got the retirement group that wants to stay in the home or use it for a long-term care facility as a house.
Yeah.
And so that's the shortage we see. I would say the lining here, the positive we see in the marketplace is landlords, by and large, are not going to be lowering your rent rates next year.
No,
the year after that either.
Yeah, so now is definitely the time to get in, to get started. So I have a lot of people I see on a daily basis that they're paying $1,200, $1,400, $1,600 a month in rent, with, of course, the guarantee pretty much that it is going to increase next year. But they call me and they're like, well, rates are 5-6%. One, that's still historically a very low rate.
Yep.
It's still great. And two, you're locked in at that rate for the next 30 years. We do a 30-year fixed loan. You don't have to worry about us calling you next year, hey, we're increasing your mortgage payment, or hey, your rate's going up. You are locked in and you are building wealth. You're building something beyond yourself to invest in, whether it be a better home or a bigger home later. So versus renting, you are building nothing. You are building someone else's wealth in reality.
So people say in a housing shortage market with higher interest rates, why should I purchase? And my answer to buyers right now is about 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, we were dealing with stacking offers of 10, 15, 20 offers on one home. Interest rates get affected a little bit, they go up, and when that goes up, it causes a cooling in the buyer pool, which means that in some cases there's only 3 to 5 offers on a house. There's still bidding wars going on, but
not as much.
So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're thinking, do I buy or don't I buy, just realize this cooling that we have in the market
is a perfect time.
It's a kind of a perfect time for you to step back in, because there hasn't been a window in the last 24 months for you to come in without it being as competitive as it's been until now. So to encourage you in a housing shortage market, realize it is still limited. There's still going to be multiple bids. And there's still opportunity because you're not going to be up against as many buyers. And we always know that if we stay in our parents' basement any longer, that's going to cause some family issues.
We don't want those.
That landlord is coming to your
raise
door
your rent.
to say, hey, rent's been increased. And people are fine with that. But yet, in some cases, they're not fine with a 5% interest rate.
When
we need to
even
focus
though
on the payment.
Even though the payment can be the same or
Focus on the
less.
payment. The payment's all that matters.
Yep.
If the payment is virtually the same, I'd rather a buyer buy a property at a 5-6% rate if the payment is less than renting an apartment.
For sure.
So just think of your long-term wealth building plan when you're considering buying in this market, and realize that we do have a shortage of housing, but we can get you into a home.
So if you have questions on how to look at financing, or you're looking to buy or sell, we would love to help. We'll see you next time.